All right. And Lindsay, what you were talking about today, speaking of kids going back to school, we're still talking about masks in schools, and some of the big districts go back today. Danielle's here. You can help take over here in a second. I'm getting Lindsay started on the masks back in schools, because we have Cleveland district and Parma School District headed back today, and they have different rules. And we've been talking about this for the past couple of weeks, where depending on where you live, depending on what your district is, it depends on what they say about masks.
You know, this is, we were talking about this. I think even as moms, you sit there and wonder, is the policy going to change next week, or what's it going to be in 2 months? And it's understandable, because that's how the pandemic has been, right? It's been up and down. That's been ever changing. So what's happening today is the CMSD students are returning full-time in person for the first time in more than a year. So that's exciting for everybody. Masks are required for those students. CEO Eric Gordon announced, back in July, I think, that masks would be required, that the students were returning full-time again for the first time, since this whole thing began. Another interesting thing, minor thing, he's not requiring uniforms anymore. CMSD students had formal uniforms. That's not required. So those are some of the changes that those students will see today. One other thing to note, while they are returning full-time and in person, they still are offering that virtual option for families who just aren't ready to go back to school. Mm-hmm. The other school is Parma schools. They're returning today. They do not have a mask mandate. They are one of several districts in the area that say, we strongly recommend that you wear the mask indoors, but we're not going to mandate it. So it's going to be interesting to see, as parents, how everybody feels. I think it'll be a mixed bag. Tomorrow, mentor schools return. That's interesting, because they previously did not have a mask mandate. They've since announced a few days ago that they will require masks. So that's just another school that is kind of changing with the times. It's interesting too. I believe Canton City schools did something similar, or they kind of went rogue. Stark County has a lot of districts that aren't mandating, but Canton City schools recently said, we are mandating masks. So you guys, I think I said this before on air, I don't think that we're going to see an end. I think that this is going to be a cycle that's going to just continue to change as long as this pandemic continues to change. So it's hard to say what everything will look like in the next couple of months, but you just have to roll with it depending on where you live.
It does. It changes often, because I actually, saw that Nordonia schools, they put out an alert to their students, or the parents of their students, saying that mask would be optional. And that was earlier in the summer as it was going back, but now they voted that masks are now mandatory. So again, we know that we are seeing high coronavirus cases here, the Delta variant. I remember we weren't seeing like thousands of cases, daily new cases, for a while. And now all of a sudden it's a daily number again. And you're like, whoa, what happened here? And it's that Delta variant. And then you also have where, people are starting to get coronavirus who have already been vaccinated. Like we talked about on the show this morning, Jesse Jackson, the Reverend Jesse Jackson, and his wife Jacqueline, both hospitalized for COVID-19. Reverend Jackson, he actually received the shot in January publicly. So if you do the math though, so January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, that's 7 months. And I remember earlier in we were reporting on the vaccine when it comes to Pfizer, and I don't know which one he received, but they were saying like after 6 months, then the efficacy goes down. And that really leads into, first of all, I got to say thank you, Mo, for picking up the slack here. My internet is just all over the place, so I couldn't get on time. So that's why we're a team here. Mo did a very good job, always does. And so Mo, I'm going to throw it back over to you though, because that with, the efficacy going down and you starting to see people get infected who were vaccinated, you see today it's expected that the Pfizer vaccine is going to get full approval. And then, what's with that?
Right. So, I mean, as people may know, that it's been emergency use authorization up until this point. So anybody who's gotten their shot has, the FDA has given it that umbrella. And we talked about this at the beginning of the pandemic. It takes a long time for a vaccine or any sort of pharmaceutical to get an FDA approval. And it takes a lot of testing and et cetera. So this is part of the process. So FDA officials are expecting the Pfizer vaccine to be approved by today. Is everybody else hearing an echo?
I hear echo.
A little bit, yeah.
I hear mine too. I had to turn my audio down so that
maybe that's it. We're like, we could practically like hold hands over here. So maybe that's it. Anyway, so if it's approved today, there's a couple of things that will be in play here. Then when the pandemic ends, the Pfizer COVID vaccine even survives. Like 100 years from now, you can still get the COVID vaccine from Pfizer. And that's just going to be a medication that's always on the market and available in medical services. Something else that they're hoping, and a factor effect of this, is that people were waiting to get their full approval until they get a vaccine. Some people were not comfortable getting something that was under emergency use. They wanted something that was fully approved by the FDA. Then once that happens, we'll start to see that booster shot available. I'm sorry, just hearing myself like after myself is really throwing me.
Yeah, like, do you hear it from me?
I didn't hear it before. I'm sorry, Danielle, to tell you it's you, but I think it might be. It's that awkward moment when you have to tell somebody like, I think there's spinach in your teeth. Yes, I think I don't know what it is about your.
I'm going to exit there because people want to.
No. I'm going to. All right, let me get through this. Hold on, I'm just going to take one ear out here. All right, so then you get the booster. We'll start to see that booster shot approved because, well, like we were saying, it starts to wean after a while. Is Danielle? Okay. Danielle, I did not mean to boot you out. Yeah, I think it is. I think it is. So we're going to see the booster shot. We're going to see maybe some of the other pharmaceuticals follow suit too. So we'll have to see what Moderna does. We'll have to see what Johnson & Johnson does. But as we were talking about, we're seeing these breakthrough cases of people who started to get the shot right away. And now you're seeing COVID cases like she was talking about, Reverend Jesse Jackson.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens as we go throughout the day and when Pfizer decides to approve that shot. But you know what? I have to do cut-ins too.
This is
such a Monday morning, isn't this? Just such a Monday morning.
It's been informative, in spurts.
I hope so. I hope so. I get so thrown when I'm hearing myself in the echo.
That's like
Lindsay. I have to hear. I know. When you hear, and it happens to everybody when you get on the phone with somebody and just the call is funky. Yes. And you're like, what? I hear myself. What? Yeah. So that's what happens sometimes. All right. Well, I'm going to wrap this up for Danielle. She's going to work out the demons. And by Friday, we're going to have this all figured out. Lindsay, really quick. I don't know if you saw, I put it on social media. I dipped my toe into fall this morning and I have pumpkin spice coffee.
Too soon, girl.
Isn't it? But soon. It was in the grocery store and
I went, oh, it's already.
I know, right? Kids are going back to school. I'm wearing orange for the Browns.
And you know how that goes too. You go through September, October, next thing you know, you see Christmas stuff and I'm not ready for it.
I know. It's going to happen fast. And then we'll be doing snow live shots of, so I just got the ball rolling. So, all right, everyone, I hope you have a great week and we will be back here on Friday chatting with all of you. Lindsay, thanks for your help.
Thanks.
All right. We'll see everybody.